This is FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. Get ready for the latest in film news, TV show news, and theatrical reviews. FilmBook's podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. My name is Chris Banks. If you're tuning in for the first time, what I do on FilmBookCast, I discuss the latest film and TV show news. I also review an in-theater film. You can find more about FilmBookCast on film-book.com by using the search term FilmBookCast. You can also email us at podcast@film-book.com with FilmBookCast in the subject line. Some TV news from this week. Prime Video has officially renewed The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for a fifth and final season. They released a statement this week saying that the show has blazed an unparalleled path, elevating the stories we tell about women, challenging the norms in our industry, and forever altering the entertainment landscape with their one-of-a-kind storytelling. The dozens of awards cement Maisel's legacy in many ways. But what's even more enduring and poignant are the characters Amy created and the joyous, brilliant, singular world she and Dan brought to life. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel stars Rachel Brosnahan, Tony Shalhoub, Alex Borstein, Michael Zegan, and Maren Hinkle. The new series just debuted, and exciting news for Maisel fans. Switching up gears a little bit, a little disappointing news for Atlanta fans. FX's CEO announced this week that Atlanta will officially end after its fourth season. The announcement came during his speech at the TCA Association press tour, where he confirmed that the fourth season will be its last. The third season will debut March 24th, with the fourth season set to arrive this fall. Atlanta tells the story of two cousins who work through the Atlanta music scene in order to better their lives and the lives of their families. Check out the debut of the third season of Atlanta on FX March 24th. Rounding out the week in TV news, Amazon Studios announced this week that the premiere date for the upcoming series adaptation of The Terminal List, based on Jack Carr's best-selling 2018 novel, will debut all 8 episodes on July 1st of this year on Prime Video. We got a first peek at Chris Pratt in his leading role of James Reese, who gets involved in a conspiracy that might endanger his loved ones. The Terminal List is written and produced by David DeGilio. It follows James Reese after his entire platoon of Navy SEALs is ambushed during a high-stakes covert mission. Reese returns home to his family with conflicting memories of the event and questions about his culpability. However, new evidence comes to light, and Reese discovers dark forces working against him, endangering not only his life but the lives of those he loves. The Terminal List will debut all 8 episodes on Prime Video July 1st. That's it for TV news. This week in film news saw some pretty bold, exciting news for fans of Star Trek. The news dropped on Paramount's Investor Day on February 15th. J.J. Abrams won't direct the film. He'll just produce it. It'll be directed by Matt Shakman of WandaVision. The original cast of the 3 most recent Star Trek films, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Joe Solanda, Carl Urban, John Shue, and Simon Pegg will all be returning, along with some new characters. So exciting news for fans of Star Trek. Some more film news from this week. Fans of A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2 will be excited as Paramount Plus announced this week that A Quiet Place Part 3 will be coming and is tentatively scheduled for 2025. There's not much else known about the film, but it's exciting that they're already planning a third part, as A Quiet Place Part 1 and A Quiet Place Part 2 grossed an obscene amount of money. Wrapping up the week in film news, we're going to talk about Spidey again, as Spider-Man No Way Home has been a massive success. I've talked about it numerous times on this podcast, and this week it officially took down the sci-fi epic Avatar as being the 3rd highest grossing film in U.S. history. No Way Home reached a milestone, earning over $760 million this week, an unbelievable achievement. It still trails Star Wars The Force Awakens and Avengers Endgame, but incredible news for fans of Spider-Man No Way Home, and congratulations to everybody associated with the film. It's an epic accomplishment. That's it for film news. DVD home releases from this week features Encanto. The Madrigals live hidden in the mountains of Colombia in a magical house in a vibrant town in a wondrous charmed place called Encanto. The magic of the Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift, from super strength to the power to heal. Well, every child except one. Mirabelle. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Maribel decides that she, the only ordinary madrigal, might just be her exceptional family's last hope. Encanto got a 76 Metascore and is now available on DVD. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is now available on DVD. In Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, once the booming home of pharmaceutical giant Umbrella Corporation, Raccoon City is now a dying Midwestern town. The company's exodus left the city in wasteland, with the great evil brewing below its surface. When that evil is unleashed, a group of survivors must work together to uncover the truth behind Umbrella and contain the danger while trying to make it through the night. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City got a 44 Metascore and is now available on DVD. Lastly, King Richard is now available on DVD. Starring Will Smith, King Richard follows the journey of Richard Williams, an undeterred father instrumental in raising two of the most extraordinarily gifted athletes of all time, who will end up changing the sport of tennis forever. Driven by a clear vision of their future and using unconventional methods, Richard has a plan that will take Venus and Serena Williams from the streets of Compton to the global stage of legendary icons. The profoundly moving film shows the power of family, perseverance, and unwavering belief as a means to achieve the impossible and impact the world. King Richard got a 76 Metascore and is now available on DVD. Eternals is now available on DVD. Eternals follows a group of heroes from beyond the stars who have protected Earth since the dawn of man. When monstrous creatures called the Deviants, long thought lost to history, mysteriously return, the Eternals are forced to reunite in order to defend humanity once again. Marvel's Eternals got a 52 Metascore and is now available on DVD. Mogul Mowgli is now available on DVD. Starring Riz Ahmed, a British-Pakistani rapper on the cusp of his first world tour, is struck down by an illness that forces him to face his past, his family, and his uncertainty, and the uncertainty of his legacy. Mogul Mowgli got a 71 Metascore and is now available on DVD. Let's switch up gears and check out some TV trailers from this week. Showtime just dropped the full-length trailer for the forthcoming anthology drama, The First Lady, starring Viola Davis, Michelle Pfeiffer, Gillian Anderson. The series is set to debut April 17th, and in the trailer it kind of gives you the Crown and First Lady vibes. The series seeks to pull back the curtain on the personal and political lives of America's most iconic First Ladies. The series will focus on the lives of Michelle Obama, Betty Ford, and Eleanor Roosevelt. Check out the trailer for The First Ladies. It will debut on Showtime April 17th. Another TV trailer that debuted this week comes from HBO Max, and it's Our Flag Means Death. It stars Rice Darby as Gentleman Pirate. The series will start streaming on March 3rd, and it actually looks like a pretty funny, comedic take on a brutal period of time. Check out the trailer for Our Flag Means Death. It'll debut on HBO Max March 3rd. This week in film trailers, we got treated to an extended full trailer of the upcoming film Elvis. This film stars Austin Butler, and this is also the film that Tom Hanks got coronavirus on. He plays Presley's manager, Tom Parker. The film explores the life and music of Elvis Presley, seen through the prism of his complicated relationship with his enigmatic manager, Tom Parker. The film explores the life and music of Elvis Presley, seen through the prism of his complicated relationship with his enigmatic manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The story delves into the complex dynamic between Presley and Parker, spanning the 20 years from Presley's rise to fame to his unprecedented stardom, against the backdrop of the evolving cultural landscape and the loss of innocence in America. Central to that journey is one of the most significant and influential people in Elvis's life, Priscilla Presley. Check out the trailer for Elvis. It'll hit theaters June 24th. Another movie trailer that dropped this week that's actually really good. It reminds you of... It's produced by the same film company that gave us the John Wick franchise, but it stars Chris Pine, and the movie title is The Contractor, directed by Tarek Salith, written by J.P. Davis. It follows a Special Force Sergeant James Harper, who's involuntarily discharged from the Army and cut off from his pension. In debt, out of options, and desperate to provide for his family, he contracts with a private underground military force. When the very first assignment goes awry, the elite soldier finds himself hunted and on the run, caught in a dangerous conspiracy, and fighting to stay alive long enough to get home and uncover the true motives of those who betrayed him. Check out the trailer for The Contractor. It looks pretty good. It stars Chris Pine. It'll be in theaters April 1st. The last movie trailer we'll talk about this week is actually a documentary, and it comes from director Amy Poehler. Hot off the heels of Being the Ricardos, Lucy and Desi are center in our culture's conversation right now. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz broke ground on so much in our culture. And Amy Poehler is directing a documentary that's centering around the real-life story and iconic TV couple Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. It's going to be available for streaming March 4th, and the trailer really shows a sense of story that the documentary will have. I guess Lucy and Desi had audio recordings that they, kept as private journals their whole lives. So we're going to learn a lot in the upcoming documentary, Lucy and Desi. Check out the trailer. It'll debut on streaming platforms March 4th. That's it for movie trailers. All right, time for this week's movie review. For this week's movie review, we're going to talk about Marry Me, starring Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Maluma John Bradley, Chloe Coleman, Sarah Silverman. It's directed by Kat Coiro. Pop star Kat Valdez is about to get married before an audience of her loyal fans. However, seconds before the ceremony, she learns about her fiance's cheating and has a meltdown on stage. In a moment of inspired insanity, Kat locks eyes with a total stranger in the crowd and marries him on the spot. As forces conspire to separate the unlikely newlyweds, they must soon decide if the two people from such different worlds can find true love together. Marry Me was this year's Valentine's Day special, and I don't know about you, but I love everything Jennifer Lopez accent. She's a tremendous American icon, but she's a great actor, and it's very refreshing to see Owen Wilson back in this capacity. He plays a character named Charlie Gilbert, who is a math club teacher. His daughter, played by Chloe Coleman, her name is Lou, and Maluma's in this. He plays a character named Bastian, and he's getting married to Jennifer Lopez's character, Kat Valdez. She's a pop star, and from the synopsis, what goes down, but what's inspiring about this film is its timing. When you saw the trailer for this film, when I saw the trailer for this film, I was like, oh God, here's another Valentine's Day corny movie. But quickly into this film, there's a sense of nostalgia about this film that I really appreciate. I'm a big fan of the cinema in the 90s and the early 2000s, and that's what this movie reminds me of, is really the best of American film. Because it's a pop star storyline centered around social media, and with the context of the story is really real for what a celebrity goes through day to day now. And Owen Wilson is in a great romantic comedy role again. I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson. I'm a massive fan of Jennifer Lopez. And quickly, I was really enjoying this movie, and I was not expecting to. And I think that a lot of people share that same feeling. Owen Wilson is a teacher. Jennifer Lopez is a pop star. They get married in a way that's completely insane. And there's press tours involved. There's social media. There's a pop star's corners pulling her in different places, but she finds her own real feeling for this school teacher, and it's heartwarming, it's heartfelt, it's genuine. The Owen and Jennifer's chemistry on screen is great. It's a tremendous romantic movie. I was pleasantly surprised by the arc of this story, the resolution at the end. I'm not going to give it away for those who haven't seen it, but it's a really good film. It's a really solid, well done, good writing, good acting, great casting, solid theme. It is a very worthwhile movie, and I'm happy to report that I'd give it at least an 8 out of 10. You really fall for these two in the movie, and you root for them to make it. And it just brought me back to a different time in American cinema, which I hope that Marry Me isn't, it inspires me to not give up hope in American cinema, because we don't need, mega good comic book, holy crap level movies all the time. We need good movies. We need solid experiences. We need good stories. We need love stories. We need all of the stories that make up life. And I feel like the cinema has gotten way too comic book horror contained. And Marry Me gives me hope that we can make good movies again. We can make solid movies. Owen Wilson does a tremendous job. It's great to see him on screen again. I love his, comedic style. and I miss it. And Jennifer Lopez kills it. And what's great about this movie is she plays such a gender challenging or gender norm, institutional norm challenging role. She's a very modern woman in this film, and it's refreshing and it's good. And I just wish that they made more of these movies. You know, they don't need to be romance movies, but this is a great film. It's a good time. It's available on Peacock and it's in theaters. I highly recommend seeing it. Sarah Silverman is great in this. Everybody is perfectly chosen for this film. And shout out to Chloe Coleman, who did a tremendous job as Owen Wilson's daughter. And of course, Jennifer Lopez does an amazing job. She's Jennifer Lopez. But this movie, Marry Me, is well worth your time. It's a good film. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. And just please keep making these movies. Thanks so much for checking us out this week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of FilmBookCast. You can find more of my work on film-book.com. Just search for Chris Banks or FilmBookCast. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm at cbanksy. That's S-E-E Banksy. I'm also on Instagram at @TheChrisBanks. If you listen to this podcast on iTunes or another podcast service, please rate and review this episode. If you're listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, FilmBook Podcast, please like our video, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment in the comments section. It really helps other people discover our podcast. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/filmbook. Your support really helps us create more engaging content. You'll find our Patreon link below in the description. If you want to tweet about this podcast, just use the hashtag FilmBookCast. Tune in next week for the next episode of the FilmBookCast. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you then.